Hey guys, it's Bree. One of my friends, Raina, asked me to be a bridesmaid, and I was so excited. I've never been a bridesmaid before. I've never been in a wedding. Being asked to be in their wedding was such an honor, and I was so excited. So she told me to rush over to Davids Bridal and go get fitted. And I rushed over there, and thankfully I was so excited. They were not busy. So I looked around and I was like, oh goodness, what do I do? There was a little area when you first walk in, and she was on the phone, so I didn't want to go talk to her. And then there was a desk over to the left, so I walked over to the desk, and 3 of the employees were talking, and one of them was talking about her date, and they were all drinking Smoothie King, and they were all sort of clustered over there. So I stood there for a few minutes hoping that they would acknowledge me, and they did not. I stood there for 5 whole minutes before I was acknowledged. That's fine, tell your story, socialize, whatever. So then I finally said, excuse me, and the woman put her hand in my face and kept talking. Kept her hand up. So I was just like taken aback by that, like, okay. And then finally another woman walked over and said, oh, what can I help you with? And she took me over to the little desk in the front. Those 3 were still talking when I walked away. But whatever, I didn't think a thing about it, I moved on. So I told the woman at the desk all the information that she needed, and she said, well, that dress is sold out, nothing we can do, sorry, and she walked off. So I was just sitting there like, oh my god, what do? I can't call this bride and tell her they don't have the dress anymore. What do I do? And I was like, no, please help me. Is there anything you can do? And she's like, nope, sold out. Can't even get it anymore. Sorry. And then walked away. So I was like, oh Lord, what do I do? So I called my friend Raina, the bride, and I said, this dress is sold out. There's nothing they can do. It is impossible to order. And she said, no, it's not. It is not impossible to order. They have them in the warehouse. Just tell them and they can order it. So I flagged this woman down again. She sat down and she's like, can't even order it on the computer. There's nothing I can do about it. So if she wants to try to figure it out on her own, she's more than welcome to. And then tried walking away. And I was like, no, you have to help me. And so then I called the bride back. I'm on the phone with the bride and she's freaking out, saying it can be ordered. They do have it in stock. They were wrong. And it just seemed like she didn't want to give me the time of day. So she got on the phone with the bride. They were talking back and forth, and it ended up that the bride would have to do all the work ordering it for me. So the bride told me just to tell them to size me. And the woman looked me up and down and she's like, we don't have dresses that fit people like you. People like me, what does that mean? I mean, I am 4'10" and a half. That's almost 5 feet tall. That doesn't mean I have dwarfism or anything like that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with me, but she made me feel that way. And so she again tried walking off, and I said, no, if you please just let me try on a dress so I can give her a size. I'm bigger than I look. I'm curvy. I'm sure it'll work out. So another woman finally took me to the dressing room and let me try on a dress, and they did have a size for me. I don't know if she just thought I was freakishly small, and the woman said, well, you better be lucky you have big boobs or you wouldn't fit anything in our store. So I said, is there any way you can order this? And they said, no, nothing we can do. You can tell the bride and she'll have to handle it for you at another store. Again, walking off. So we had another mountain to overcome, and that was the shoes. And I said, will you please show me the shoes that I need to get? So she looked at my feet, looked at me, we don't have your size. How do you know? So I told her that I was either a 1 or 2 in kids, depending. And she said that the adult sizes were too big and the kid sizes were too small, and they didn't have anything that would fit my feet. That is a regular problem for me. She was really upset by this time and had my feelings completely and utterly hurt. And so I said, if I go get shoes from another store, will you dye them for me? Because her wedding color is watermelon and she wanted the shoes to match the dress. And they said, oh no, we won't dye shoes for you unless you purchase them from us. So now what do I do? So then I ask again, will you please just show me the shoe that I have to get? And she said, why, what's the point? We can't fit you. We don't have shoes that fit you. And then she walked away for good, I think, in the back. Never showed me the shoe. So I'm calling the bride. I went to the car and called the bride pretty much sobbing. There's no reason to be treated that way. She wound up calling a different Davids Bridal location, and they said that they would dye the shoes for me. It was not a problem if they didn't have the size. It would be super accommodating, and they would dye it up to 2 or 3 days before the wedding. So there was really no reason to be so completely mistreated and disrespected. You know, someone could have said, okay, sit down, we'll work with you. Because you know that 5 or 6 or I don't even know how many bridesmaids there are, but they're getting that money from the bride and her dress, so I don't understand. They're still getting the money. There's really no reason to not care. I just don't understand treating people that way. This is public record. If you live in the New Orleans area, don't go to the Metairie Davids Bridal because they're horrible. So there's nothing I can do to be taller. You can lose weight, you can put on weight, you can do those things. I cannot physically be any more than I am. I can find heels and be taller. Well, no, I can't find heels to be taller because my feet are freakishly small, but there's nothing I can do about my height. It's not like I can have some plastic surgery and magically be a normal size human being that can reach shelves and ride certain rides. It's a constant thing, and it really is a bit of a handicap for people that are short. And it is a struggle if you are small, and to have somebody blatantly be rude to you and not want to work with you, it's just a bigger slap in the face. They were getting my money anyway for the dress. The dress is $200. Want to keep that customer coming back. And FYI, I am engaged and I am getting married soon, and I will not, for the record, be taking myself to David's Bridal, and none of my bridesmaids, I will get nothing from them. They completely lost my business. And that's all for me. Thank you guys for watching, and rate, comment, subscribe below.